I knew precisely what I desired. I desired this family. I desired too much for my sister wives. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give this episode a thumbs up. Robin Brown was left in the dark about the drama after some tough talks indicated that Sister Wives patriarch Cody Brown is attempting to fix his broken bonds with his elder children following years of animosity and emotional scars. Despite the heartbreak and betrayal that resulted from his divorces, Cody has clearly demonstrated in Sister Wives Season 19 that he is still invested in making his relationship with Robin a priority. The last few seasons have been hard to watch, with Cody struggling to manage his feelings, given how much he leaned on Christine Brown, Janelle Brown, and Mary Brown to handle the aftermath of his decisions. Cody's first 3 marriages to his first 3 wives, all lasting more than 30 years on average, disintegrated one after the other. When Christine announced she was leaving in Sister Wives Season 17, it became apparent that Cody was going through a crisis of deep emotions, and Robin was trying to stay with him as he rode out those suffocating feelings. Although Cody knew he was struggling with his emotions, his relationships with Janelle and Mary absolutely dissolved in Sister Wives Season 18 to leave him at a loss about how to deal with the tidal wave of negative emotions he was experiencing. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Cody's relationships with his children became even more strained as he enforced complicated rules that limited their ability to see each other, leading to arguments about what visits could or couldn't happen. While the pandemic certainly shifted dynamics, the Brown family had been grappling with growing tensions for years. While Robin and Cody's kids have had a good relationship with him, his other kids have fought to gain his love, attention, and understanding. Since Robin is less involved now, Cody's case might be changing. Cody's independent thinking has made the Sister Wives patriarch's overall decision-making process stronger. He no longer falls for Robin's bait. Her stunts no longer amaze him. It's become more and more clear that Cody has struggled with Robin's presence in his life, particularly during some of the toughest years he's endured. Robin has had the power to move Cody's emotions for a long time, but her handling of the family matriarch has tended to feel manipulative. Instead of hearing him out, Robin would also tell Cody what he felt and what he needed to do about it, imposing her own reading on him in place of permitting him to develop his feelings spontaneously. Robin previously would interpret Cody's difficulties within her own reference frame, defocusing from him and onto herself, instead of allowing Cody to openly feel and then express his feelings. Still, Cody hasn't been falling for Robin's manipulations as readily in the newer episodes of Sister Wives. Though Cody continues to be married to Robin, he is increasingly doubtful of the counsel she gives and of the subtle attempts she makes to manipulate his choices. Cody has been opting to do what he himself feels is the right thing to do instead of acquiescing to Robin's will. This newfound independence in Cody's mind is a welcome change for the Sister Wives patriarch's decision-making, even if his decisions aren't always ideal. Cody has even gone as far as to go see his kids alone, making serious efforts to re-establish those relationships without Robin's intervention. For most of the series, Cody has not been doing enough to be a genuinely present father to his 18 kids, but recently he's been making an effort and doing it in his own way. Cody has struggled seriously in the last few seasons of Sister Wives with working through his feelings regarding his divorces and determining where he is at. It's also been revealed that the children, especially Cody's older children, had a lot of emotions regarding the parents' breakups and subsequent media coverage. Even though Cody wanted his relationships with his kids not to be impacted by the highly publicized divorces from their mothers, life was not so. In recent scenes, Cody opened up about the fact that he has been trying to get in touch and re-establish contact with his children, even without Robin. While he hadn't planned on seeing every last one of them, he found himself hanging out with more and more of the children, talking candidly about how their lives had altered over the course of several years. And although Robin wasn't directly involved, Cody felt more comfortable to deal with these conversations in her absence, keeping her out of it. In the end, by cutting Robin out of these interactions, Cody and the children were able to make so much more headway. Cody is finally taking responsibility for his past wrongdoing. He's not blaming all the other people anymore. In addition to making the effort to restore his relationships with his children, Cody also appears to be accepting a higher degree of personal responsibility, taking greater responsibility for his own mistakes now than he has previously. Although Cody is still not owning up to every mistake, acknowledging that he is partly to blame for the problems in his family is a significant step forward for the sister-wives patriarch. For years, Cody attempted to bottle up his feelings and place blame on others instead of taking responsibility for his role in the family's issues. Sometimes Cody had challenging, albeit sometimes to be expected, behavior. It's obvious that during this trying time of his life, without his children, Cody has relied tremendously on Robin in an effort to process the emotional hurt. Regrettably, Robin's efforts at soothing his emotions regarding the divorces and re-establishing his relationships with his children have not been successful. Following a difficult period, Cody finally looks set to take on more responsibility, now that he's been able to look back, digest his feelings, and get on with his life. Cody's looking ahead. He's opting to notice the good where his relationships are concerned. While Cody and Robin continue to have their marriage intact, it is evident he's not very positive about her relationship with his elder children. Past seasons of Sister Wives have indicated that Cody's older children are having trouble with accepting Robin in a healthy manner, usually speaking freely about the issues they've had with her. While Cody and Robin keep their love for one another foremost in their minds, it can be seen that they've struggled with how the children feel about their relationship. For a while, Cody attempted to make the situation about his children not being able to have a relationship with him if Robin weren't included. But now, it appears Cody may be having second thoughts about that plan. Based on his recent actions, including the decision to visit the kids on his own, Cody seems to be realizing that it may be easier for him to develop close relationships with his children without the direct intervention of Robin. In the past few seasons, Cody has appeared more at ease with the possibility that if real closeness with his children is what he desires, he will have to do it without Robin beside him. Cody is finally facing some of his earlier manipulations. He's working on introducing some clarity and honesty about his part in the family drama. It's increasingly clear that Cody, more about reconciling his relationship with his kids and being upfront about what happened in the past as Sister Wives Season 19 rolls along. The way Cody has handled Christine, Janelle, and Mary during the last couple of seasons only made him sound even worse to fans. Though Cody has been candid about his own hurt, he has attempted to spin stories implying that his doomed marriages drove him to make bad decisions. Cody has been biting, even going so far as to say that he never really liked the early family setup. Cody now appears to be admitting he was too hard on his ex-wives, even admitting that he lied about some of the things he said about them on the show. Although Sister Wives Season 19 is ongoing, Cody recently confessed that he wasn't entirely honest while taping previous seasons, particularly when he said he never loved his ex-partners, something he now claims was a lie. It's dawning on us that Cody wants honesty more these days than obeying Robin's assumptions about what he should do with his prior relationships, even though part of him still does appear to be motivated by revenge against Christine, Janelle, and Mary. Cody is resisting Robin's assumptions and doing a lot more than simply asserting himself. Along with admitting his own falsehoods, Cody appears to be reaching a breaking point where he's no longer willing to put up with Robin's behavior. When it comes to following Robin's lead, Cody doesn't seem as submissive or attentive anymore. Instead, he seems more determined to defend his own views. Cody's behavior toward his last remaining wife is starting to look different from what audiences are used to seeing. On more recent shows, Cody has appeared much more autonomous, not letting Robin call his shots or guide his thoughts when she was not on the scene herself. There have been numerous changes over the years in Cody's life that worked in Robin's favor but had overall negative effects on him. One huge blind spot for Cody had been not wanting to acknowledge Robin's part in his own problems. But now, It seems Cody might finally be working on resolving those issues, with the aim of reconnecting with his children. If Cody is truly strengthening his relationships with his children without Robin's intervention, it could become a significant change for the Sister Wives patriarch. In the meantime, controversy surrounds. Was Sister Wives star Robin Brown coerced into shooting a Garrison-centered episode by TLC for a paycheck only? Into doing the Garrison Brown tribute episode just so she could get a paycheck from? During the memorial, viewers observed that Robin was unwanted and displayed no real emotion on camera. For a better understanding of why Robin may have been coerced to shoot, read on. Was Robin coerced into being on the Garrison episode? Most Sister Wives viewers were vocal about their feeling that Robin Brown didn't belong in the tribute episode to celebrate Garrison Brown. She was very much regarded as one of the primary causes of the family's deterioration, and therefore her viewpoint was considered unwelcome. Robin only arrived and pretended to be crying, but could not muster even a single tear, at one point awkwardly wiping dry eyes. Robin treated Garrison more like an acquaintance than family, and seemed distant when talking to Cody Brown about his son's death. Now, there's mounting speculation that she participated in the filming just for a payment. It would make sense. Robin surely knows how unpopular she is with viewers. Fans even swamped her infrequently used social media pages to accuse her of being heartless and laying blame on her for being responsible for Garrison's senseless death. One of them asked, "Do you even have a heart?" Another compared watching reruns to seeing a train wreck after realizing Robin's personality. "You and Cody are perfect for each other," another critic wrote. "Leave social media alone. You're a joke. And now your kids get to grow up with your reputation. You've hurt a lot of people and never apologized. I hope karma catches up with you." So why on earth would Robin Brown voluntarily subject herself to even more public humiliation for a TV appearance? Many viewers of Sister Wives suspected Robin had a motive: money. They also speculated that her grief over Garrison's death seemed less about the loss itself and more about how it might reunite Cody with his estranged family. Robin appeared inconvenienced, while Cody, by contrast, looked genuinely devastated. Money Talks Robin Brown seemed to need an excuse to be featured in the memorial episode, knowing full well that the fanbase didn't want her there. Fans saw her squint and try to summon tears, but failed to find any. Robin's infamous habit of crying over everything and making herself the victim again rang hollow. But in this instance, it's obvious. Money talks. Robin came into the Brown family with a clear financial motive, and what she did at the memorial only served to reinforce that perception among die-hard fans. One follower pointed out Robin's long history of being money-hungry, sharing this observation. Robin never fake cried during the first season. I completely agree she shouldn't have shown up, but she needed that TLC check for her new McMansion and those dolls that cost $100,000. Before selling their massive Flagstaff property, Robin and Cody had recently purchased a new $2.1 million home. It's obvious that money is important to them, particularly because they proceeded to borrow money. Although Robin and Cody did not owe anything to the other three wives financially. In reality, television, where very personal narratives play out under the keen eyes of production staff, some things are so intimate that any misstep can set off a tidal wave of criticism. That's precisely what happened when one particular divisive figure who has long polarized viewers cropped up in a recent family documentary show devoted to a tragic bereavement. Her inclusion was not just a surprise, it was widely unpopular. As gossip circulated, there was one question above all others. Was she there for genuine sorrow, or was she driven by cash and contract requirements? The tribute episode was riddled with raw confessions, emotional interviews, and genuine feelings. But the mood changed when this polarizing cast member sat in front of the cameras. Instead of viewing her as a bereaved member of the family, many fans viewed her as an outsider whose presence evoked anger rather than sympathy. The public has long regarded this woman, notorious for her scandalous position within the family structure, as the wedge that drove once sturdy relationships apart. Her union with the patriarch following the eventual dissolution of his previous relationships, was the beginning of the breakdown of the family for many to see. With time and relationships falling apart, viewers increasingly identified her with conflict, favoritism, and isolation rather than unity. She was never universally accepted as a sympathetic or warm figure. So when she showed up in the emotional tribute, critics instantly doubted her sincerity. Rather than showing genuine sadness or heartbreak, she seemed remote, going through the motions of mourning, but her eyes remained dry. Veteran viewers, knowing how tense her relationship had been with the rest of the family, found her practiced tone insincere and unconvincing. Severe criticism broke out virtually at once on social media sites. Supporters condemned her for using a tragic event for publicity and attention. Many believed she didn't belong in the tribute at all and should have politely declined. They questioned, where was the compassion? Why did she sound like she was reciting from a script rather than speaking from the heart about someone she was allegedly supposed to care about? Her infrequently updated social media accounts were quickly filled with irate messages. For some, her appearance during such an exposed and emotional moment was perceived less as an act of remembrance and more as a strategic attempt to control her image. On the basis of fierce online criticism, strangers even went so far as to call her Heartless and blamed her for the collapse of the family, and, in extreme instances, suggested that she had somehow contributed to the emotional turmoil of the young man. With all this criticism, fans speculated that she must have been involved only for the pay. Reality TV can be very profitable. As cast members remain on for several seasons, their pay grows higher, particularly if they are a part of emotionally charged episodes related to disasters or significant family milestones. Aside from financial gains, these guest appearances also provide priceless visibility, which results in endorsements, sponsorships, and expanded personal brand recognition. To some critics, it was obvious that her involvement in this specific tribute was more a matter of contract fulfillment and financial security than actually grieving someone she was not emotionally involved with. Onlookers also pointed out that previously, she used to be tearful all the time. Tears had essentially become part of her brand. She would sob over family relocations, arguments, and even minor melodramas. This time, though, there were no tears. At such an emotionally charged moment, the stark lack of any apparent sorrow left many wondering, had the tear well finally run dry? Or was she just not capable of being as open as fans anticipated? Fueling the fire were increasing worries about her extravagant lifestyle. Her finances had improved considerably since joining the family. Having been burdened by debt before, she and her husband now reside in a lavish estate, a sharp contrast to the humble abodes of previous seasons. The public couldn't help but notice the change in their lifestyle, so much so that it raised eyebrows on what compromises were made in the process and what kind of transformation this is. Was her performance at the tribute just another way of excusing this new lifestyle? Her supporters have attempted to shield her with the argument that people mourn differently. They contend that there are more than just tears with which to express grief. Some simply need to cry in secret, their feelings too complicated to reveal with cameras and spotlights. But this argument was not very persuasive. Critics were still suspicious, using her history as proof she was perfectly capable of showing up when called upon for a public appearance. Others were wondering if the public appearance was more a result of pressure from the show producers than a personal want. Reality show success is sometimes dependent on full cast involvement, and her absence from this significant episode would have caused problems behind the scenes or controversy. Maybe she wasn't there, period, and her standoffishness was just a reaction to discomfort, not indifference. But the images told a different story. It was difficult to overlook how emotionally removed she seemed as the tribute played out on screen. The bond that would naturally be expected of someone who was part of raising the young man being honored was noticeably absent in what she said. Her words never did exactly fit the emotion she was using. As numerous fans have commented, she almost sounded as if she was describing a stranger and not a beloved family member. Her husband, Cody, was, meanwhile, visibly broken-hearted. His eyes were the heaviness of grief no father should ever be burdened with, and his voice shook when speaking truthfully of the loss. Their responses were diametrically opposite, and this contrast only served to cause more frustration to the audience. In the subsequent days after the broadcast, debates on the internet grew fierce. Some were of the opinion that it was cruel to condemn a grieving stepmother, whereas others believed that honesty and accountability took precedence over external appearances. Considering that trust is already brutal, it's critical to consider the outcome of laying your life open to the public eye. Hardcore fans, longtime watchers of the show from its inception, were some of the most devoted of them all. They recalled the early years, the friendships, the woes, and the joint parenting. They also recalled how they gradually fell apart. For them, the tribute episode was a key test, allowing them to decide who still had a place at the emotional center of the family and who contributed to its eventual collapse. The episode, far from a moment of reflection, provided a definitive conclusion for many. Her involvement served the show better than the tribute itself. It is still an open question whether she went because of financial necessity, contractual obligation, or real desire to pay respects to a deceased family member. But the fallout from that moment provided important insight into the emotional state of the fan base of the show. It was a reminder of how quickly fans judge sincerity and how little tolerance they have for those they view as opportunistic. The memorial was meant to celebrate the nuance of a young man who came of age before cameras, with internal family conflicts and external pressures, and to lament his premature death. But whereas attention first turned to those mourning him, it also brought into focus the unresolved tensions still smoldering within the family. One thing is certain. As the show continues and future installments try to demonstrate healing, growth, or ongoing division, the distinction between self-preservation and storytelling has never been more blurred. From here on out, every public outing by the woman at the center of this drama will be viewed through the prism of that silent, tearless tribute. At that moment, whether by design or not, her silence said more than any tears ever had. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for daily updates.